Howdy, the name's Coasterman, and welcome to day number 2 of the Birthweek Branson vacation. If you don't know what Birthweek means, basically yesterday was my birthday, as of the time that I... Thank you. As of the time that I was recording this, so, when this gets uploaded, unfortunately, that will no longer be the case. But I've got a surprise for you, or maybe not so much, because you know who I am and you know what I'm like. Alright, be honest in the comment section below. How many people have I blindsided with this one? Did anyone not see this one coming? It's Silver Dollar City. I mean, come on. It's not really a Branson trip without Silver Dollar City. Don't answer that, because one of my videos might prove me wrong. Anyway, I've still got some time to kill, so there's a bit that I could record before we go into the park proper. One of the first things I want to show is just this enormous wreath. Like, look at this thing. I'm betting anywhere between 20 feet to an astonishing 50 feet tall. The largest wreath I have ever seen. And the reason for this is obvious. It's Christmas. So, at the time that I'm recording, it is really close to Christmas. Like, we're talking like 5 days away. So, at the time that this is uploaded, however, most likely not, but, you know, details. Oh my goodness. Has anyone outside of New York seen a larger Christmas tree? That thing is 8 stories tall, and if it doesn't look that big in video, trust me, it looks much bigger in person. I can't even capture the whole thing in a single frame. Can I like zoom out, maybe? Oh, I can capture it in the same frame, but not at 1% magnification. At 1 time zoom, I can't even keep the whole thing in the picture, it's so massive. And I've heard that this thing is gorgeous at night. Red bells line the path over the bridge to Valley Road, the site of 2 rides that I'm going to be hitting first and in quick succession with one another, if the lines allow. But anyway, Valley Road is home to one of the park's A-list attractions. I bet you can tell which, seeing as how I've been here on multiple occasions before, and I am uploading these 1 week apart from each other. So, I'll leave it at that, and I will show you when I get there. This is Time Traveler, the Mach Rise Extreme Spinning Coaster, and you should see from that first drop alone that this coaster means business. I'll show you more later. To prove that I'm a man of my word, this is really the best angle for you to appreciate exactly what this ride is. There's Outlaw Run's drop, the inversion's a wildfire, and it goes along this track like that, and then right onto that section right behind this launch section here in front. And it stops for a little bit. And then in just a little bit, it gradually speeds up into that overbank turn. And then it goes through more metal knots, including that vertical loop right there. Then it goes through that section and into a corkscrew right there before the final launch section that leads into the final brake run. This ride is amazing, and it's not even over yet. This is the last part of the ride, right before the brake run. There we go. That came from the second launch, by the way. This ride is crazy from beginning to end, and those free spinning seats, even if they do have brakes on them, they make the experience just that much better. And now, on to the next ride. That was a blast to start out with. The Time Traveler is absolutely one of the best attractions in the park, offering a unique experience while also showing off elements from other coasters, such as the steep drop from Outlaw Run, the inversions from Wildfire, the backwards facing seats up to a certain year of Thunderation, and the launch segments of Powder Keg, all wrapped up in a beautiful steel knot. So, let's look at more of the ride, as I promised before. And now we have Thunderation. This is an Aero Development Mine Train roller coaster. This thing is one of the oldest roller coasters in the park. I first rode it back in 2004 even. And this one really is unique among mine train roller coasters because it has only one lift hill, like most other standard roller coasters, whereas most of them have 3. So, join me in the ride review, and I will meet you there. The Time Traveler, there is more than ever meets your eye with the Thunderation. This ride is a zigzagging trail of helices that you can go through at a pretty blazing speed right there. After that helix, the next part, and the last you can see from here, is to come. So, it won't be too much longer before you can see the train through the trees. So, oh, I see it. There it is. You see that train in the distance?
Are you riding?
Not yet. Okay. So, I believe it's there. Oh, here it is. I can see it. Alright, so that is the one and only lift hill of this mine train roller coaster, believe it or not. This is the only mine train roller coaster that I can think of that I've ridden that only has a single lift hill. All the rest that I know of had 3. So that lift hill goes straight onto the final section of the roller coaster, and I believe I've lost it. There we go. Did you see that bit of movement right there? That was the train going back to the final brake run. I was mistaken about the era. It was actually an aerodynamics mine train roller coaster. Whoops. So, when I say era, I mean that aerodynamics has went through many names. Even now, it's under a different name, SNS Sansei. This is because after the development of X, the company unfortunately went bankrupt, and well, SNS Power bought it. So, for the review of the ride, it's great for what it is. It's a mine train roller coaster. It's not in the big 3 of this park, that being Wildfire, Outlaw Run, and Time Traveler, but it's still a classic, and I can look back on it as such. And here we have the Flooded Mine, an in-house built ride at Silver Dollar City. This is a shooting dark ride. and the scoring system is relatively interesting. In order to really score a point, you don't shoot directly at the target. You shoot just a little bit above it onto the sensors, or below it, depending on where the sensors are. Regardless, this thing is a classic, has been since 2004 for me, and it's been a signature ride at Silver Dollar City since 1968. Point system on Flooded Mine was surprisingly generous this time around. I think I counted at least once that I got so many points that it actually wrapped and it went back to 0. So I got over 18. I don't even know how many points at this point. I think it's maybe a 6-digit thing on the gun. So maybe like 1,800,000. So, that's crazy. So, now that I'm done with all the rides on Valley Road, I believe it's about time to pay the Grand Exposition a visit. The first stop in the Grand Exposition is the magnificent Wave Carousel, a Zamperla Wave Swinger. This pays homage to one of my first rides that I overcome a height restriction on back in Magic Springs. It was called Magic Swings, fittingly enough. So a little bit of history for you. I forgot exactly when I was first able to ride Magic Swings, but at the time, the park had only been open for maybe a year, maybe a couple. Anyway, this ride is very similar to Magic Swings, except where Magic Swings dealt solely with single-seater chairs, this one has double-seaters. So, I'm about to get on, and once I get off, I will make my ride review. Nothing like a relaxing breather in between trail rides, am I right? Well, I say that, but I wouldn't really consider the Flooded Mine a thrill ride. Anyway, I think you might know what's coming up next since we're in the Grand Exposition, and I've shown it off before. At least I think I have. And now we have Electrospin as Zamperla rides Disco. This thing, as you might be able to tell, is your typical ride where the disc spins on a track as it goes back and forth. This is very similar to a KMG Afterburner, aka a Fireball. Although what the rides have differing in is in the Fireball is swung on a pendulum, whereas this ride goes along a track. So that's one difference at least. The other is in its restraint style, and that's actually what sets Electrospin apart from practically any other spinning ride that I have ever seen. In this case, you are sitting like you're on a motorcycle, and the restraint comes over your back instead of your lap or your shoulders. As you would expect, this ends up being a ride that is very unique because of it. Alright. So once this ride ends, I'll be getting on and giving you my ride review when I get off. But in the meantime, just enjoy the sheer dizzying insanity that can come from this ride. It's the most thrilling ride in the Grand Exposition. It's one of the milder rides in the park as a whole. I would very easily class Electrospin as a family thrill ride because it has pretty much the same stats. Moderate speeds, pretty middle of the road height restriction, you know, just typical stuff that makes for a not quite a high thrill ride, but it's up there. It's definitely more up there than most kiddie rides. So now I'm gonna go and see what I can do about the Grand Exposition coaster. And here we are. This is the Grand Exposition coaster, a Zamperla Junior coaster. This thing packs a punch in a really tiny footprint. It's not in the it's not really in the way that it's particularly tall or fast. It's in how forceful it is. So yeah, this thing can pack a few G's in there. Mostly laterals, but still, yeah, G-forces are what I live in for in a roller coaster. So this will be the last lap of this ride, and then I will be giving my ride review very soon. So join me for that, and I will meet you there. Alrighty, so I just got off of the Grand Exposition coaster. Like I said before, it packs a lot into a tiny circuit, and it wraps around that circuit about 3 times. It's not particularly tall or fast, but it is forceful, so if anyone has any back problems or anything like that, probably not best to ride this one. And now I believe we have the Royal Tea Party, a Zamperla Teacups ride. Teacups are some of the best attractions in the park, simply because of how well you can control how fast you spin. With that little wheel in the center, you can either lock the car and keep it from spinning, or you can turn it and make it go as fast as you want, with some limitations, of course. But regardless, this ride is fun no matter what the strategy you employ. So soon as it stops, I believe I will be getting on, and I will give the ride review afterwards. So I believe it is called the Royal Tea Party, though. I just need to verify. Also, I was wrong about the model of the coaster. It was Zamperla, but it was a family gravity coaster. So, yeah. For anyone who wants to be politically correct, there you go. I didn't get a particularly fast spinning teacup, but honestly speaking, that don't really matter because, as you may be able to see, it's about getting sunset, so I think I'm going to make a beeline for either Hugo's Hill Street or the western outskirts to try and get some night rides on some real A-list attractions. While I'm en route to the 2 rides that I have in mind for night rides, let's check out some of the lights on the way there. I mean, we still have maybe a few minutes of daylight left, maybe an hour. But still, yeah, that's more than long enough to look at the pretty lights around. This place is all dolled up for Christmas. We got Christmas trees, we got Christmas lights, we got houses that are just absolutely stunning this time of night. So, yeah. This place is really looking festive right about now. And now we are here with the best roller coaster in the park, hands down. This is Wildfire, a B&M sit-down roller coaster, a standard model in that series. And what I mean by standard is that there are multiple versions. I'll give you more information on the ride review. If you want to have a chilling time, then a few pieces of advice. Come here in the winter, wait until about 6, and then ride this monster at night. This thing will provide you an extra intense ride where in some of the elements you do not see them coming. So it won't be too much longer before a train is onto the track, and I'll show you more about it here in just a second. I believe I did mention that I was going to tell you more about what I meant when I said a standard sit-down coaster. Well, turns out there are at least 2 types, well 3 actually, of Bulliger and Mabillard's sit-down roller coasters. This is the first one, a standard sit-down. The second is, and I kid you not, a floorless train. You heard me right, a floorless roller coaster. And I actually can say, I can brag that I actually have had experience with a floorless coaster. And it's actually pretty cool. The last one is a hyper coaster. Those take you up to 200 feet and go through a non-inverting course. Unfortunately, while the height is greater on a hypercoaster, the ride experience, in my opinion, is inferior to the other 2. But then again, I do like my inversions, so there you go. That's my story. In the distant darkness looms the best wooden roller coaster I have ever taken on thus far. This is Outlaw Run. You can barely see the train, but you can see exactly where the lift hill goes up. And the reason why I come here at night, well, I think you should have really expected me to do this, but I think a night ride on this bad boy is going to be fun. That was actually crazy. Night ride on the Outlaw Run was an educational experience because outside of the lift hill, there were times that I didn't even see the next element coming. Wow, this is crazy. So, I believe I'm gonna show you a more close-up look at the train going up the lift hill because, like I said before, there's not much you can see in the dark. And there they go. Another set of travelers going into the darkness to blindly go through the elements of this ride. And I hope nobody of faint heart was on it because you cannot see the next element coming. Now, there goes Powder Keg. This SNS Sansei ride, and originally SNS Power, is an air-launched roller coaster. It's actually pretty cool that they've managed to learn a lot from Hypersonic XLC, because this ride it doesn't suffer from as much prototype problems, but it does suffer the usual problems that any machine would. Still yet though, this year, or this winter, they're running 2 trains, so that's cool. I will admit, when they're actually running 2 trains, they can actually move a line, and this makes for an absolutely intense night ride. This ride is bonkers, no matter what time of the day it is. It just barely makes it short of the top 3 due to the fact that it does not have inversions. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna go and see what else I can do before my final night ride. And I hope you know which one it is, because I think I introduced it as one of the top 3. If I didn't, well, I'll let you know anyway. Alright, what would a visit to Powder Keg be without showing off the launch from the outside? So, here we go. The next set of people about to there they go! Into the darkness. A most thrilling ride awaits. If you guys didn't see this one coming, then I did a horrible job telling you that Time Traveler is the silver medalist of the Big 3 in Silver Dollar City. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. This is one of the main members of the Big 3 that whose night ride was not affected by lighting. Unfortunately for Wildfire, it was, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Wildfire is ultimately still my favorite coaster in the park. Where night rides are concerned, not quite so much. So, I believe this is about as much as I can do for tonight, because I am heading back to the room, and I will catch you next time. Until then, see you later.